Let's get going with Shadowlands Afterlives Revendreth. So I'm expecting an exclusive video that's focusing purely on Kael'thas and how things were just a setback. However, I'm not so sure that's what I'm going to get, but let's find out. Home sweet home. This is Garrosh.
To the good people of Revendreth.
That's me.
It is with optimism that I address you today. Though these are challenging times. Firstly, I assure you that our holy mission to help the most violent and wicked souls atone for their sins is and always will be our utmost priority. Our rituals are effective. Our judgment keen but fair. We, Venthyr, remain committed to bringing eventual redemption
Diablo
to
4.
all who desire it. It is through your faithful work that even the most evil and prideful beings may ultimately be spared an eternity in the maw. Unfortunately, of late, the flow of such hubris-ridden souls has virtually ceased. And as a result, anima, our most precious resource, is in dwindling supply. Even we, the faithful who extract the anima, have not been spared the effects of this mysterious drought. Yes, we still have our old reliables, our workhorses. Yet I fear they will not be enough. We are doing everything in our power to gather more anima. But, simply put, we must all, rich and poor alike, make sacrifices for the greater good. Therefore, I have decided to implement a strategy of conservation and rationing, which should keep the anima flowing to those most.
I mean, everyone's smiling, so it must be going pretty well. Well, he's not smiling so much.
In this manner, we will keep our people strong and our land healthy. Despite the efforts of those who would use this crisis to further their own ends and rebel against the
He's just this giant
structures of
beast
our
right behind you.
society. Rest assured, we shall bring these miscreants to justice. With fairness and mercy, of course.
Oh my goodness.
Am, after all, nothing if not compassionate.
So they actually vampires or what?
My loyal subjects, we are doing all that can be done to stimulate anima production and fulfill Revendreth's honorable purpose. Remain devout and resolute, and know that I will lead us all into a brighter future.
Very nice. I love the voice acting. That's fantastic. He was very much on point for what he was trying to represent there. This snooty high elf. Whether he's a high elf or not, I have no idea, but it kind of reminds me of essentially a lot of the whole stories that revolve around elven society. Like if you look at Legion, the early elven society of Suramar, etc., how they're all rich and upper class and looking down on the people, but that becomes their own sort of downfall to a degree. This guy's the last boss of the new raid. Is he? Oh, you actually get to fight him and then potentially kill him, although you don't normally kill anyone. So he's technically a bad guy then. I don't know. I mean, who knows how Shadowlands works? Maybe he's just doing what he needs to do for his people. He's a good guy, really. Sure, he sounds a little bit menacing and ominous, but if he's got the people's interests at heart, then yeah, maybe he's doing the right thing. I mean, I saw at least a few people smiling, so it can't be all that bad. But he looks quite happy and content. He looks really good. I like the model, sort of like the armor style. There's no Kael'thas though. So that's what's missing. Perhaps Kael'thas will be the final boss of the entire expansion. He'll usurp Sylvanas and destroy her in front of everyone. And then we realize that he's the big bad guy. That's what I think's going to happen. Nice stuff, though. I'm not disappointed. So, I had Bastion. I mean, the Naxxramas, the Mold Ramus one was easily the worst one. Not that it was, again, I say, not that it was bad. But if I was going to rate them, I would put that one as the 4th. I would put the Night Fae as the 3rd. I would put this one as the 2nd. And the Bastion as the 1st. Bastion mostly because it just references Warcraft 3 so nicely. Even though I kind of disagree with how they sort of went about doing it. Where, you know, Uther was actually looking at this giant flying thing or whatever. Or no, Arthas was looking at this giant flying thing. Like, they're sort of retconning story elements, which I don't really like. But if I was going to just take it on its own merit as its own sort of 4-minute, 5-minute video, the Night Fae one would probably be higher. I don't know, the Night Fae one and this one, they're very close. I like the Night Fae one for the music mostly because it's really, really epic. And they had some cool story beats with the Ursok, sort of like fighting but being exhausted. This one was more subtle, more gentle, the pace of it. But it had a cool story element of how essentially the rich are exploiting the poor in this. And I sort of really got behind the voice acting, which elevated this one, I think, just ever so slightly above the Night Fae. Tyrell says Tempest Keep and Magister Terrace was merely a setback. It's true. Absolutely true. For you, Bastion, Revendreth, effing Fairies, and Maldraxxus. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it as well. Well, there you go. That's Shadowlands Afterlives Revendreth. I would make an assumption that perhaps they'll do one more of these, and it will be Shadowlands Afterlives the Maw or the Jailer, and it will be like his story, or the story revolving around that, because you've got the 4 Covenants and the Maw, basically, haven't you? The only other way they'll do like a 6th one, or at least as I see it, would be one that focuses on what Sylvanas is up to. So she could be the last one as on top of that. It could be like Shadowlands Afterlife Sylvanas. But do they really want to do one of those? Or do they just want to tell that story inside of the game? They could even have one about Bolvar. You could go down a whole path here, but they're only going to have so many. Cool. I enjoyed that. That was good. What are they saying? Garrosh is being farmed even in the afterlife. Yeah. It was cool to see Garrosh again. I assume that you probably have to release him from the prison, and then Garrosh is going to like lead an uprising, most likely against Sylvanas. If anyone was going to lead an uprising against Sylvanas, it could be Garrosh, to be honest. He'd be strong enough to do it. You think now Thanos is a world boss? Oh, right. Damn, well, Sylvanas, yeah, she's embracing the dark side now and becoming that kind of character that now players can kill rather than be a plot device for the Horde. She's sort of become her own entity. Yeah, who did the voice acting for this? Is that Matt Mercer? It did sound a bit like him, actually. And Blizzard do use Matt Mercer a lot for things. It's Ray Chase, Final Fantasy. So I'm not sure. Ray Chase. Denafrius is voiced by Ray Chase. Ah. Voice actor has provided several voices for World of Warcraft. He's done Sky Captain Crag, the Wicker Golems, Spore Caller Sancha, and then gets this. So he's kind of got like a promotion. Because these ones sort of seem like more minor characters, don't they? Matt Mercer is McCree from Overwatch, yeah. Is that boss? Yeah. So he does the voices of some boss characters by the looks of it. Oh, that's nice. Well, there you go. Well, there it is.